This week's expedition was entitled Enemies. And you might have read that and thought, enemies? I'm too young to have enemies. Well, yes, you're too young to have had the kinds of enemies that Jesus had, the apostles had, and the prophets faced. But we don't have to be old to have enemies. I'm sure all of you have experienced some amount of bullying. It may be a girl or a boy or a group of kids who gang up against you. And if that hasn't happened yet, it may well do in the future. The question is, what should you do? Our first reaction might be to hit back, to retaliate. However, the Bible tells us to do the opposite. That's what we read this week, isn't it? We're to love our enemies, do good to them, and pray for them. But why? Why, you may ask? What did Jesus answer? Well, he said because that's what God does for his enemies. Indeed, if we are not believers, we are enemies of God right now. And yet, look how good God is to you. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't report bullies to your parents or teachers. You should get help from adults you can trust, but that's part of loving your bully, because it will hopefully turn them away from their sin. But whatever happens, we are to retaliate with love and prayer and doing good to them. You need God's heart to do that.